Welcome to another edition of Racing World. Well, I'm going to get straight into it this week. I'm going to start with the weird and the wacky. This picture here of a concept EV NASCAR. Now, how quirky, how bizarre is that? The beloved NASCAR and the roar of those mighty V8 engines, but the hum of an electric engine? No, I don't think so. Anyway, this car was run. It was helped developed by ABB, of course, who are part of the Formula E series. So it does exist. It is a complete car. It's all legit. But at the end of the day, it will remain a concept car. It won't get developed into a full EV NASCAR series at this stage anyway. But just imagine that. Imagine how the good old Southern boys would react to hearing their cars hum around the track rather than the roar of V8s around the high banks of, say, Talladega or Texas or somewhere like that. Anyway, that's from the weird and wacky. On to the positive. As we talked about in the last show and the open test at Indianapolis, there was 3 yellow periods during that time, one for Graham Rahal, one for Kyle Larson, and then the big one, of course, for Sato. The car was totally destroyed. He hit the wall with an enormous impact, as you can see here, and they made the decision once they got the car back to the Rahal Letterman base to do a total rebuild, and that included a tub. So it's a brand new car. They got a tub from Dallara straight away, who are based in Indianapolis as well. And the work's begun on getting that car ready. Here are pictures that I got from Rahal Letterman showing the work in progress. And I saw a picture yesterday of it actually being painted up and all the decals and stuff applied to it. So it's very close to being finished. As to what the body fit will be like, it'll be interesting because this is something that normally takes months and months and months. And they've done it in a period of days. So, you know, time is running out. Cars will be on track in about a week and a half from now. So you really got to pull finger. Sato, of course, was the quickest non-tow time at Indianapolis, but all that goes out the door because that car's gone out the door. But it's about to kick off Indy Grand Prix this weekend. We're going to talk about Barber in just a second, but, you know, the countdown to the month of May is well and truly on. We're in May now. And bragging rights out of the Indy GP, Will Power and Alex Palou have always been strong there. And if you consider the form that Alex Palou's got right now, then you'd have to be thinking he's got pretty good odds. But there's good support categories at Indy GP this weekend with USF there as well. So Jacob Douglas and Sebastian Manson lining up in that category. And then, of course, Indy Next is there as well. So Callum Hedge and Liam Skeet's back on track after being at Alabama last weekend at Barber as well. So there's plenty to come out of this weekend. Leading into Barber this week, I had the chance to talk with Felix Rosenquist, and one of the questions I asked him was what his connection was like with our Marcus Armstrong.
David Turner, Racing World. Hello, David.
Hey, Dave, thanks very much. Hey, Felix, from New Zealand, I've got a little bit of an angle for you here. Your teammate this year, Marcus Armstrong. Your association with Marcus actually goes back many years before where you are now, doesn't it?
It does. It does. The first time I met Marcus was when he raced in Formula 4. I think it was the Italian or the European Championship. I don't remember. But I was racing with Prema at the time in Formula 3. And Rene, the team owner, asked me if I could like coach the F4 kids for a weekend in Italy somewhere. I think it was Vallelunga. And that's where I met Marcus. And he was pretty similar to how he is today, to be honest. He seemed pretty mature for his age. He was just a kid. I think he was like 14, maybe 14 and 15. And he seemed to be very like mature for his age. That was the first memory of him. And I guess that's kind of stayed in a way. You know, he's older than he looks in a way mentally. So, but it's been good. We've been enjoying working together and very easygoing. I think I get along with all Kiwis and Aussies of the world. I feel like we're, you know, Swedish mentality might be pretty similar. It's very relaxed and calm and, you know, take every day as it comes. So, yeah, it's been good so far.
And then thinking of teammates, obviously you get an additional teammate going to the 500 with Elio coming on board. How much influence does that play when it comes into, say, the team debriefs at the end of the day and that sort of thing? Is he very vocal or on par with what you're all bringing to the table?
I think he has a good mix of being that, you know, you always listen when he talks because I think he's one of, you know, the most special drivers at the 500. He has a very special feeling for, you know, just his driving and the car around there. So, but I think also he's very different from the other drivers there. Like he drives differently and he needs something different. Like he's figured out his key to that place. And so I think it could be also deceiving to like follow his setup and footsteps too much. So you kind of take it, you listen in a bit, and but he always does his own thing. But he's such a talented driver, man. It really impresses me when he comes back the last 2 years now. He's been on the sidelines, and he's, I think he's over 50 now, if I'm not mistaken. And he just jumps in. It's like riding a bike for him. It's pretty impressive because it's not easy. Like this, as I said before, these cars are super hard to drive. And he's competing with guys who race every week, and he just goes out, and I think he was one of the strongest guys at the open test, from what I've heard. So it's pretty impressive what he does.
And then just finally, I know that you're a bit of a coffee aficionado. You need to get the Armstrong boy to bring you down to New Zealand and taste some of the coffee down here, because he swears by it, and I know you'd enjoy it.
Oh, nice. Good to hear. I'll definitely look into it.
Or I'll bring you up some beans next month, or this month now for us here in New Zealand, because we're already into May. I'll bring them up for you when we come up for the 500.
Would love that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend at Alabama, and look forward to seeing you in a week or so's time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, David. Congratulations, Felix. You got the coffee hookup.
Really cool to talk to Rosenquist. And he says some good things about Armstrong, and he went into his 100th race at Barber over the weekend. So, big milestone moment for him. And again, the MSR cars this year showing good form. I think some of that is the alliance with the Ganassi team, which is what it's all about. And, we're looking for them to convert some of that eventually into a race win. I feel that it's just on the edge of happening. Will it be Armstrong or will it be Rosenquist? They both deserve it, so one of them is probably going to do it. Wouldn't it be magic if it happened on the late part of May around a certain oval that we're all talking about? Anyway, moving on. Practice. The first practice was not too bad, the normal type of session, really. Conditions were pretty good with the forecast of rain coming for the Saturday, so first practice was Friday at Barber. There was a couple of interesting things that came out of the press conference, and one of them was Pato O'Ward, when he was asked really about things that he would change or what he needs to change heading mainly towards Indy, and it was quite a firm reaction that you got from him. So take a listen to this.
Learn how to say no, I would say. If the 5 years or 6 now, this is my 6th year here, I can't believe it, but if the 6 years that I've been here have taught me something, is learn how to say no and don't feel bad about it, because you're the one driving the car. So if someone's asking something, say, do you want me to win the race or not? So no, I mean, it's just, everybody wants a piece of you at the end of the day, and they want you here and here and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, it's like, why are we doing this? We do this to win races. We do this because we want to win the Indy 500, right? That's the most important one on the calendar. And I mean, I guarantee you they will forgive you if you win that race. So
that said, is it okay if we take another question or two?
yeah, it's fine.
Okay, they're going to say no.
Well, interesting comments there from Pato. I kind of agree with them, and then I kind of don't. The don't bit is the fact that you're paid to be a driver, and part of that is that you have to deal with the media and other marketing type exercises that you have to go through. So you can't really afford to say no because people are paying the bill. However, if you do say no, like he said that he may do, then he is right in the sense that everyone will love you if you go on and win, say, the Indy 500, because they will, because everyone likes a winner. So it is important to achieve that. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, left me with mixed feelings anyway. So it'd be interesting maybe to hear your thoughts in the comments box on that. But, that's Pato's mindset going into this Indianapolis 500. And of course, he's determined to win that thing. He's come close a couple of times now, so he needs to nail that event for sure. Speaking of people that also want to do well at Indy this year, was the pole sitter from the 500 last year, Kiwi Scott McLaughlin. I got to talk to him after qualifying when he locked out the second position on the grid for the race on Monday morning our time in New Zealand, Sunday in the US. And it was a mixed bag on qualifying day. Rain in the morning, thunderstorms. The area was very prone to weather. Track was very wet. Off track was very, very wet, very muddy and everything. But there's a lot of things that we're seeing in IndyCar this year. One of the trends we're seeing is, other than on the opening lap at St. Petersburg, which was way back in late February, March, we have not had a yellow flag period in a race at all. Not one single one. So the races have all gone green. So a green race around the Barber circuit is physically very, very demanding on a driver. It's physically hard on a car as well, but on a driver. And these green races are becoming a bit of a trend. The only time we've seen a run of yellows was actually the 2 days of the Open Test in Indianapolis, and we'll talk more about it in a minute.
Let's go to David Turner from Racing World. David, go ahead and unmute yourself for what I presume is Scott McLaughlin question. Go ahead.
Thanks very much, Dave. Scott, I know you're drawing the comparisons to Phillip Island and I guess corners like Lukey Heights and stuff that you see at Phillip Island. These are really high commitment corners though, aren't they? And sequences of corners. Can you kind of explain that to people that know Phillip Island down this way?
Yeah, I think it's high commitment, but also high load, long duration corners, big Gs. But then at the same time, you're also trying to, these corners are leading to slow corners, so you're trying to just keep a constant flow around the track. It's all about momentum, and a track like this, as soon as you sort of miss one corner, it affects the next. Then it's just really that's what makes it really fun. And Phillip Island for me is very much the same that it was in a supercar. So it has, like, it's obviously a different animal, different beast to drive, the IndyCar compared to the supercar, but its nuances and how the track attacks itself between the two cars is very similar.
And then just quickly, with this weather that's been through and potentially maybe more coming, are we going to see a drastic change in the track surface and particularly obviously the grass is going to be a lot more slippery now. We've seen that already, but is that going to affect track grip or tyre strategy at all?
Yes, I don't know what Alex thinks, but I sort of thought that the track got better. It's a pretty nice surface. It got once we got out there and it was fully dry and we could really attack it and lay our rubber down. It didn't take long for the track to sort of hit its stride. So we'll have a bit of rain tonight. I think there's a weather advisory coming. But ultimately, I think tomorrow with the sun, we'll have warm up in the morning, and then the Indy Lights race as well. There'll be a lot of rubber on the track before we head out.
Well, congratulations on the front row start, and you're hauling that meat wagon around there, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Well, some pretty interesting points there from McLaughlin. And of course, the track conditions in that southern part of the US has been hampered by storms in recent days and weeks and months, really. But the forecast for race day, as we later found out, was to be good. A little bit of water residue from the day before, but other than that, pretty good thing. In the end, McLaughlin came up third in the race on Monday morning, and not a bad performance, as he said. It's points on the board, the points count, and they're valuable points. No one had the match for Palau during the race. He was a masterclass in the race. Absolutely no one in his league at all. And the number 10 Ganassi team really have their act together right now. Will it continue? Because we've never seen a season in IndyCar like this ever. In all the 25 plus years I've been covering IndyCar, I've not seen a season go like this before, with the number of green flag laps and then these consistent race wins from one single driver. So quite interesting. Anyway, after the race, got to chat with Scott yet again.
I felt like we really executed today. We had a third place car and we came third. So that's all we can do. There's nothing more, nothing less. And I mean, I learned that when I was racing supercars, championship campaigns. You just got to be there. But yeah, it's all swings and roundabouts, and we'll be strong at other places. He won't, and you're just going to try and capitalize. You just like sort of all your muscles are sort of going. If this is the first race of the year, it'd be pretty hard. But I think ultimately, it's I'm very surprised by IndyCar that we have no yellows right now. But it's a credit to the racing, credit to like the clean racing that we're having, and obviously the hybrid. We're able to restart when we when we spin or something like that. So.
Well, as we mentioned a little earlier, that match race fitness, if you like, as Scott referred to it there, is maybe coming into play. These guys are extremely fit. They are athletes. Anyone who ever argues this, and I've had this conversation with quite a few people over the years, Motor racing drivers are athletes. They don't just go for a Sunday drive. They are high performance athletes. So scrub anything else from your mind, because that ain't true. That's for sure. But good comments from McLaughlin there. And a guy that's really surprising me this year and performing very well, if not probably one of the standouts of the McLaren team. And it's not O'Ward. Siegel's certainly up there, but it's Christian Lundgaard. After a few years at the Rahal Letterman team, I kind of started to wonder whether we were ever going to see anything out of this guy. And here we are, 4 races in, and he's consistently scoring, points. And in a normal year where you didn't have someone, say, like Palau consistently winning all the time, Lundgaard could quite easily be leading the championship right now. So it's very, very solid performance from Lundgaard. He's settling into the car, he's settling into the team, and I got this feeling that race wins are on the horizon.
It's the one real opportunity you have, because as soon as everybody's settled in, you need to rely on people making a mistake, and you can't do that. So it was about doing it when it counted, and I was close enough to Scotty. I think we all know as soon as we get to the high speed on cold new tires, we'll kind of bottom out, where I pitted a couple of laps before, and so I'd gone through that. So when I called Scott there, I knew game was on, and I knew he was gonna work for it. But always clean racing with Scott.
Onwards now to one of the key men at the Chip Ganassi racing team. There are a lot of key people, so I'm not singling anyone out here. Gosh, we've got our own Kiwi in there with Blair Julian as a team manager within the Ganassi team. So there's plenty of depth and talent in there, that's for sure. But Barry Wanzer, who does the strategy for Alex Palau, has been with Palau for quite a while. While Mike Hull looks after Scott Dixon, as we well know, and that's well documented. They've been together as a combo for quite some time. But Barry Wanzer talks the talk. He talks about Alex. So have a listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, everything we do is about building momentum for Indy. Our 2 team goals are to win the Indianapolis 500 and win the Drivers' Championship. So everything's about building momentum leading into Indy, and it's momentum and confidence is really, really important, and that's we certainly have it. And it's doesn't guarantee anything except that we know we can do it. So we just need to try, each week get it done. Admittedly, he'll say he's learning every time he's in the car. So there's a lot more to learn. He's getting stronger, but you can't take away from how strong the team is performing. Engineering, the setups, the pit stops. So the entire team is performing well, which obviously enables him to do what we need him to do the most, and that's perform on track. He gives us all the options with speed, fuel saving, whatever we need, he can do it. And that helps us with all of the strategies.
Then onwards, of course, to the race winner, Alex Palau, yet again. But as I said earlier on, this was a masterclass performance from Palau. He pulled away. He had more push to pass left at the end of the race. He managed the hybrid technology better than anyone else in the race, and he qualified better than anyone else in the race. So at the end of the day, the current championship leader certainly is Alex Palau, and he did nothing to serve any doubt about that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, means nothing and means a ton at the same time. Means nothing for the championship yet, but for sure I prefer to be in the position we are not now than on anybody else's position. But yeah, best start of my career, like not in IndyCar. I would say everything that I've done in my life never been as good as here, not even go-kart. So yeah, couldn't be happier, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Well, Palau now has a 60-point lead over everyone, so that's a race win and a bit. So he's starting to pull away, and the teams are going to have to dig deep. But don't forget that this weekend was the first weekend of continuous weekends for IndyCar teams all the way through to mid-June. They are at tracks every single week, and this is where we see championships go one way or the other, and the survival of the fittest, the survival of the best prepared, and all of those things. And there's some demanding tracks. We've got Indy Grand Prix, we've got the 500 itself, downtown streets of Detroit, an ultra demanding circuit. It just gets tougher and tougher and tougher. But Palau, with that little margin, that's really good. Looking at the Kiwis themselves, McLaughlin sits 5th now in the championship. Dixon has dropped to 7th with the result from the weekend, but still managed to be the best performing or pass the most number of cars in the race. So, kudos to Dixon, and it proves that even if you start at the back of the field, you can work your way through. And Marcus Armstrong sits 14th in the championship right now. As I said, championship is still early days, but now's the time to cement those points, and Palau is doing exactly that. So, look out everyone else, because Alex is certainly starting to storm away with this, and this would make it a three-peat in terms of championships for Alex as well. So there's some good things coming. Then onwards to my favourite place, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, the month of May has arrived. As I've said a little bit earlier, there's the Indy Grand Prix this weekend, and then we move into practice. And then the following weekend, it's qualifying for the 500. 34 cars entered, so one of them's going home. My bet at the moment is it could be Jacob Abel. I don't know why, but I'm just thinking that could be the weak link in the chain. But if anyone has a crash during practice or even qualifying itself, which we did see last year, VK spun in his first attempt over the 4 laps. So anything is possible. The weather could do anything. It's such a mixed bag. The wind plays such a big part at Indianapolis. All of those things come into play. So we're in for a good race. But I think that it'll be Jacob Abel. I'm not sure why. The performance over the weekend wasn't that good, but Graham Rahil's been in that position a couple of times as well. So let's wait and see. We'll be bringing you reports from both qualifying day and race weekend at Indianapolis, as we'll be there and get all the scoop on the Kiwis as well. To the tour group that's coming with us, I think you're going to have a great time. The weather, well, let's say it could be a mixed bag, but as the tour group from last year could vouch for, it was a mixed bag and we still got a race in. So we're looking forward to that. It will be a great race. We're looking forward to presenting as much content as we can from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There is plenty to come here on Racing World. Multiple shows are on the agenda for there, and we hope that you enjoy them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This will really help the channel out. We need that right now, and we enjoy making this content for you. So if you can support us by doing that, it really, really helps. Look forward to bringing you everything we can from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.